Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Guys, if you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement. We give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a movie, and that movie is the Super Mario Brothers movie. Here to discuss, as always, the triple jump, Chris Trio.
It's a me, Trio. Gooch, how are you?
I'm doing well, and in the middle, a returning guest, Delaware County's #1 Nintendo fan, Chris Connor.
Welcome, Chris.
Finally here for something Nintendo related. I can't
Absolutely.
believe
Also, I think this is the first time we've actually been on a podcast.
it. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that, so it's good stuff. I think it's apt. We're here to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah. So, Chris, I feel like it's Chris Connor. Sorry.
I'm Trio. He's Chris.
Yeah. But you're gonna answer to it and be like, oh. Chris, I think it only serves this podcast right if you start us off here. What did you think of the Super Mario Brothers movie?
I mean, it was definitely something everyone was expecting. It was good expectations, it was bad expectations, and I feel like it just all came together when it came to Super Mario. I mean, it's literally been 30 years since the old one that people completely rip about, and now we got this animated version. It's got a bunch of callbacks, got its own story elements. I definitely do feel that they have gone above and beyond when it comes to really giving this sort of new movie experience.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's just so much fun, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot
think
of
it
fun.
really is. Like, from start to finish, it's a 90-minute just run-through fest of just getting right into everything. They don't take a lot of time to try and explain, like, the Mushroom Kingdom and why this is all happening, and I think that works. Like, you're in this weird, silly world that makes no sense where people are hitting blocks to get coins out of it to pay for things, I guess. Like, how does their economy work? I don't understand it, but I don't care.
That's what I want to know.
That's what I'm sitting here wondering. But dude, it's an amazing animation style. I think they captured the Mario look like by tenfold. I mean, everyone looks great. They all look kind of silly, but it works. I have a question for you, gentlemen, though, and I saw someone tweet this, and I just thought it was funny. How old are Mario and Luigi supposed to be?
Probably around 20s, 30s. Around
It's a good question.
Right?
Because
Because
in this
they
movie, it
seem
put
to
it into
be-
perspective. Yeah,
It's very odd because they're like, it starts out the movie, they seem like, you know, I would have guessed 40-year-old men who started their own business.
Okay.
And then he
don't
left
think
this
so.
other one. Maybe 30s. Sorry. Maybe 40s high. I'd say two 30-year-old men who are starting their own plumbing business together. But then they go back home and live with their parents and they kind of act like younger people. It was fine. It was just more funny. I saw someone tweet that and it made me chuckle. But dude, I think they knocked it out of the park. Gooch, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm curious how this all went down, like behind the scenes. I think Illumination was the pick. You know, they had proved themselves with Despicable Me and you know, I guess the Minions movie, whatever the fuck else they made with that IP.
For sure. I mean, those movies make gangbusters every time.
Yeah, this movie was fucking incredible. I was like grinning ear to ear the whole time. I thought it was like fucking hilarious. There was really. I have one gripe, and it has nothing to do with really.
I also have
it's
one,
more. It's more of a narrative thing,
Sure.
than anything. But yeah, the casting was great. Can we talk about how the trailers totally convinced us that Chris Pratt was a bad pick, and he was great.
Well, I just think I don't even think they convinced me that he was a bad pick. I just they were giving enough for me anyways to understand it. But I do get what you're saying in the way of you weren't getting many long dialogue scenes with him in the trailers.
That was the thing. It was a bunch of one-liners. It wasn't too much
It
dialogue.
was just,
You didn't
here we
hear as
go.
much.
And yeah, so I think it was fair to people to be a little on edge. I was not really that concerned with the Chris Pratt casting to begin with. I get it. We want more, you know, video game and voice actors making their way into these bigger movies to, you know, give them their credit and their due. But I'm sorry, you can't sell a movie with who's the original voice of
Charles Martinet.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
And-
he makes an appearance, right? That's
he
him.
does.
He's
right?
like the
I
second
assume
line of the
yeah,
movie.
Yeah, where he's
And
like,
then he's at
He's
the
the
end.
second line. He's also the dad.
and he is the dad?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I thought it was just awesome how it sets it up at the beginning with his accent though and everything, because I like that whole commercial was great.
Oh, it's
and he's
absolutely
like
great.
he's hamming it up and then he's like, you don't think that the voice is a little too much? He's like, no, it's perfect. Gooch, how did you feel about the slight Italian accents?
It was good.
Yeah.
As
the resident Italian.
I feel like as the resident Italian, like Chris Pratt, honorary Italian, right next to Christopher Columbus. Tony Soprano would be
Now we're gonna get a bunch.
memorializing
Now we're
him.
gonna get a bunch of comments about Christopher Columbus. Thanks,
The
Gooch.
really only reason I said Christopher Columbus is because of that Sopranos.
Because the Sopranos,
episode. It was
yeah.
like, Christopher Columbus is a hero in the story.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. I was kind of surprised that they took the John Leguizamo, that Mario movie's like premise, and like they live in Brooklyn, they're plumbers, and then they have this like family. I'm like, this is
but
so
and that's the other
strange
thing.
that they went with that.
For sure.
Not exactly. It's more along the line of it's more the idea of similar concept when it comes to living in Brooklyn, accidentally stumbling upon another world. But
So is that
plot-wise,
how
it's
Mario
much
has
different.
always been? Like the idea of that his story, or like is there really not like is there any like lore to Mario before this?
It's been kind of different. The whole Brooklyn story, accidentally discovering the Mushroom Kingdom, has been around for a while. But
Okay.
And other times, it's usually the idea of they've grown up in the Mushroom Kingdom. They knew
Yeah,
Peach for
sure,
a long
sure.
time.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
And it's like so,
I like that aspect a lot.
and
I
then
did.
like Peach is also from
Who knows where?
Earth.
I think Earth. I see again. That speaks to what I think this movie does well. They don't dwell on the stupid shit of like we don't need to spend a bunch of time.
I was
kind of
surprised they even gave her this is her coming through.
And that just
the pipe.
opens it up more for more sequels. honestly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was one voice that I wasn't incredibly hot on.
Really?
Cranky.
Who not Cranky. I actually really liked Cranky. I don't know who that voice is. He definitely sounded familiar to me. It was Toad. I don't know
Keegan-Michael
why.
Key.
Yeah, and I think he's great. I think he's a great actor.
I hear you.
I don't know why I assumed Toad was a bit more. Maybe he was always kind of like, the squeaky whatever guy. I kind of always assumed him more as like maybe like the wise man, like a little bit more. Like there's one Toad in the room where he's talking and he's talking like this, and it's a very deep.
Who's the old sage Toad?
Yeah, Toadsworth.
Yeah, Toad's.
Toad, so I guess that's what I always kind of maybe imagined him as, but I still liked. Don't get me wrong, I didn't hate Keegan-Michael Key at all, and I think it was fine. But
Same goes with me when it came to Cranky. I thought it was fine too.
yeah, sure, yeah, no, I thought again, even bringing in the whole Donkey Kong universe, it works so well. Seth
Jack
Rogen,
Black was a perfect casting.
Oh, he was great.
you couldn't have nailed that.
Peaches.
How did we not see that coming? First off, not just that he would do a music thing of some kind.
I wonder if he like ad-libbed that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was
It's
like,
Jack
hey,
Black.
what if could I like do a song? Like, because I'm sure the idea. That was another thing. I like the idea of Bowser wanting to marry Peach. I don't know why.
I mean, that's
never-
usually the
no.
that's usually the
That's
premise.
half and half usually.
No, that
Yeah.
makes total sense to me. I don't know why it just never really connected to me. The idea of him capturing her, like seeing it be kind of expound upon within the movie, I thought was funny.
But that's the thing about Peach too in this one. Like you expect her to be the archetype,
Like the damsel in
helpless
distress.
damsel kidnapped, but it kind of shows light. Like in the games, even Peach will occasionally try and break out, etc.
sure,
But
yeah.
this time around, she's not even taking anything. She's sneaking stuff in. She's going on the attack. She's just ready to deal with whatever.
And instead, my gripe, Luigi.
So that's my gripe,
is the
too.
damsel in distress, and it's like. It was such a shame to see him so sidelined.
That's the thing that sucked. I think I said that in our Discord. I was like, I wish we got more of the brothers together because I think they worked very well, and even it was very touching with the stuff with them. Like, I'll never leave you.
the
man.
baby scene.
It's so good.
Fucking messed me up.
It was good. It was so
I was
good.
like, dude, that was the cutest thing I've
I
ever
was
seen.
not expecting that.
I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting either. It was a great pull. I just
Yeah.
thought, and you even see Baby Peach. Right now that I'm thinking about, obviously, like
Yeah.
with the flashback, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So many cool little Easter eggs, especially at the wedding. I mean, you saw like King Boo. I mean, I bet you were going crazy.
oh, yeah.
Like you were just seeing every
King
single one.
Boo,
The bomb,
Bomb.
Yeah, it's just.
Wrecking Crew with what's his name?
Spike.
who
Yeah.
played by Sebastian Maniscalco.
Is that who that is?
A true Italian.
That's so funny.
The fact it's not even just Mario stuff they're referencing anyway. It's all old Nintendo stuff.
He's
Yeah.
playing Kid Icarus when he goes to his room. There's a
Punch Out Pizza.
what's Fox's ship? The
R-Wing.
R-wing. Yeah, there's an R-wing on top.
And I mean,
Jumpman references.
That's what the arcade's called. Like the guy's playing Donkey Kong,
Yeah.
but the arcade cabinet
It's
says
Jumpman,
Jumpman.
right?
what
yeah,
the
yeah.
pizzeria is called.
Punch Out Pizza, something like
That's
that.
it. Yeah, like Mike Tyson's
There's, I
Punch
mean,
Out.
you could probably see so many.
And I was kind of surprised. Like I think when we came out, I was telling you, I'm like, there wasn't like a real deep cut that like only like, like 3 out of like 10 Mario Nintendo fans are gonna know. I think everything was like pretty accessible, even to me as a non-Nintendo fan, typical Nintendo hater here, not a player. I'm like, oh, like I understand all these references.
No, for sure. I'm sure there's probably some weird little things in the backgrounds here and there where someone's like, it's that, you know,
like literally on the map there was. I didn't notice this one in Queens. There was one called Link Street, so you know where that's from.
Yeah. Very little cool stuff, but it really is great. Jack Black as Brat Bowser. It makes total sense, and I don't know why I never thought of it. I didn't realize he was just a big turtle man.
Everyone like that's pretty much the thing.
He's a big turtle. No, I know he's got a. Don't get me wrong. I know how dumb that sounds. He has a big shell.
He's King Koopa.
But what is Koopa like a?
It's the race.
Is that no? I know that, but is Koopa like a name for a turtle? Like I don't.
Well, I think it's a play on Kappa.
Is that what that? Okay.
It is one thing. I don't remember what country it is. I know it does mean something.
Kappa in Japan are turtles.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
I would imagine it's a play on that word. I've actually never thought about that until this very second.
I love it.
There was something I wanted to mention. I think about Luigi. One thing I liked about Luigi is like when they take the pipe into the Mushroom Kingdom and he kind of has his Luigi's Mansion moment, and I think that would be like a great idea for maybe not a sequel but a spin-off.
No, absolutely.
To do Luigi's Mansion, I think that would be a lot of fun.
Well, Charlie Day has said he's shown interest in it, so
I mean, I'm sure this thing they're setting up the Nintendo Cinematic Universe right now. And it's gonna happen.
Yeah, this movie is the biggest box office weekend for an animated film of all time.
Yeah, it beat Frozen out. And listen, I will say, man, I think going the animated film direction was the way to go.
Only way. Like for this IP.
Well, and especially if you're telling the story like they told it. Like again, I don't think the story is anything like, to write home about. It's nothing complicated. It's not gonna.
It's all fun.
It's all fun. It's some references. It's a pretty easy to follow story about Mario trying to rescue Luigi and also take down Bowser with the help of Peach.
Now, when it comes to the whole Luigi thing, I'm afraid that's kind of the whole running gag when it comes to the Mario Brothers. You know how Luigi's usually overshadowed by Mario, and they pretty much subtly put it in there. I think that's kind of the thing. But But that's the thing when I first saw. That's the thing when I first saw the trailers for this movie. I was immediately thinking it's all going to be about how much screen time each brother gets. In reality, it just became a bunch of Mario doing majority of the stuff. So
yeah, sure. And
which is what the games usually are.
No, and that's you're playing as Mario, and it's funny because it is the Super Mario Brothers movie, but it is the Super Mario Brothers movie. So I'm not that surprised that he would take a sideline in some degree. But would I have liked to seen him be his partner throughout the movie, like I was saying, like it not be?
Yeah, the movie really portrays them to be, and I like their relationship and
their chemistry is great.
I found it interesting that I like how their family kind of doubted them, all of them, their whole entire family, and again very very typical I don't know when this movie's supposed to be set, but it's
I mean, they had smartphones, so
so it must be current.
It's the grandparents, it's an aunt and it's an uncle, it's a cousin.
What do you do? Why are you leaving your job? It's a perfectly good job. You don't do that. Yeah, it's so funny.
Mushroom, he's picking the mushrooms out.
A great little gag too.
I felt that. I'm a Mario fan. I've tried my best to like mushrooms my entire life. So
that was a good little gag. I like that a lot.
Mushrooms are hit or miss.
Not a big magic mushroom. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, great little setup and gag for that. I like the use of the power-ups. Again, and they explain them just enough.
Oh, you get hit and you lose it.
That's it. All right,
that's how it is in the game.
Yeah, and that works perfectly.
Yeah, but the fact that they called it out, we could have seen it and understood it, but the fact that it's called out, and again, we get the pipe noise, all the noises returned and the sound effects.
All of the music
music was great. Koji
Koji
Kondo was helping it. You could hear a bunch of different sorts of tidbits from past and present games. You could hear stuff from all the way from Mario
hear the
Brothers
Mario
to
Kart
Galaxy.
theme. You definitely hear the Star theme at the end. It's it's mixed, it's remixed.
Yeah,
for sure.
The Galaxy theme. You're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Even the fact that they would even bring in the ever infamous DK rap, which personally I don't mind. Which, by the way, give Grant Kirkhope his credit.
No, that's great. Yeah,
So he the creator of?
He was the original composer.
That's what it is.
And
so what? He doesn't have credit for it.
In the credit, it just said Donkey Kong 64, and he's even gone on social media to say that
this is the same thing with I forget what the guy's name is from The Last of Us who co-wrote it. With,
it's
Druckmann.
not. Yeah, it doesn't say. Does it say from Neil Druckmann, or does it just say Neil Druckmann?
It's just Neil Druckmann.
I mean, I could argue and say it's just them saying all the DK64 cast, but come on, there's just that one song.
I mean, it's a
listen, people.
Bob Kane, Bill Finger kind of situation.
I mean,
Like
that type of stuff, especially back in the day, got so sticky they could just tell you to fuck off and just be like, sign this, it's ours now. See ya.
But anyway, also the decent idea when it came to just how they set it up when it comes to, like, usually you see DK Isles instead it's the neighboring kingdom, and you got Cranky as the monarch.
No, I think that all worked very well, and even you have Peach's a little throwaway line of like, "There's a gigantic galaxy out there, and so many worlds to explore." Or something.
I literally,
Yeah, that left it so open for everything.
Again, I think that's the idea of like, there's a world out there with Link and all that, like a galaxy. I do think
I didn't take it like that. I just took it as like, okay, like
more
Mario
Mario
Galaxy,
stuff.
Mario Galaxy.
all the Mario games.
I mean,
Interesting.
are possible.
there's a Luma in the movie, so
Right. That Luma was fucking
Gooch,
hilarious.
get ready for the NCU, okay? The Nintendo
Nintendo
Cinematic
Universe.
Universe.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'd kill
It's happening.
myself.
It's
If-
coming.
If they actually name it, I'll be like
Oh, yeah,
genuinely
sure.
upset.
one day we'll get into Smash, and someday we'll complain that we
Listen
need Snake.
though, if
I
we-
was
if
kind
we
of
get-
waiting for a Smash thing.
That's
like
what we
some-
all
Well, but
joked
that's
about.
the Avengers that you lead up to.
I know.
That's like Jen in a joke.
Like I was waiting for like Captain Falcon to like recruit Mario and Luigi into the Smash
Falco
initiative.
punch. Sorry, I had
Yeah,
to.
like who would be the lead? Yeah, like I feel like Captain Falcon would have to be the leader of the Smash crew.
Absolutely. Oh, are we getting a Captain Falcon movie at some point? Oh my god.
Dude, we don't even have a
don't even
fucking
have a game in
F-Zero
a long
game.
time.
I'm telling you, we'll get a. I'm sure we'll get a follow up to
Nintendo,
this very
man.
soon. But I think
Wild.
I think Link is going to be there next.
Everyone's thinking Zelda. So
Zelda, I just wouldn't
I
be
was gonna
surprised.
bring it up. I was gonna bring it up at the end of the podcast, but you brought it up now, so that's fine. I think we should get a Legend of Zelda movie, but I think this is where you take the live action approach.
it depends.
I think this is Zelda's much more
serious.
Well, much more serious, but also much more. It's reasonable to translate that world to live action much more than.
And again, we
the
have
Mushroom Kingdom.
We have big gaps in fantasy. Like I saw Dungeons and Dragons recently, and I'm like, we don't have enough fantasy.
I agree.
in anything.
But can I just say that they have to keep the sound effects for the weird fairy ladies if we see them in the movie?
Don't do the laugh. Don't do the laugh.
That is, those are my favorite memes.
we need like the Midna like talking back
That's the thing too, because like
with
as you-
subtitles.
Yeah.
That definitely brings that up. When you think of Mario, Mario's not always the most talkative in his games, and now they
That's-
make him talk, so that did work. So that'd be interesting to see with other non-talkative
I
protagonists.
don't remember if I had this conversation with you. I think I might have said it with you. It makes sense why they recasted Mario, because it's like we've never heard Charles Martinet really talk as Mario. He just makes
And also,
the noises.
I do think his voice, that pitch, you can't do that for a full movie. I just don't think it's pleasant to the ears, personally.
I mean, for me, Charles Martinet will always be Mario.
Of course.
I couldn't see him doing it as much when it comes to speaking like that. Just always going to me, Mario,
or like,
the
hey,
entire
what
thing.
are we going to do?
I feel like it would be really difficult, especially with playing more than one character. But he does both Mario and Luigi. But
Oh, interesting. I didn't know.
But I am.
Does he do Wario and Luigi?
He does Wario. He does Waluigi. He does Toadsworth. He's a great man, and I am just glad to see that he was in the movie.
Right.
No, that was
I think
very
if he
good.
was not included at all, that would have been like an absolute slap. But like,
Again, I'm sure
it's
if they want-
Nintendo. Like, it would be so strange if they didn't.
Well, I mean,
do
and
that.
Miyamoto like produced this, right? He was like a head producer.
Yeah,
like his name was
when
on.
the movie started. I was like, wow, Miyamoto
He had a full
has
hand, yeah.
the producer credit.
Oh, it was like executive producer too, so he was like one of the
I
big
mean,
shots.
after everything that happened back with the '93 one, they kind of pretty much decided to, because they've been stalling it for this long. Like literally, the gap.
Well, they said they were never going to do movies again, right? For a while.
Yeah, '93 to 2023. It's literally been 30 years. So
No, hey man, listen, I got it. And I will say though, that Super Mario Brothers movie has a major cult following now.
I'm fine.
I do want to. Gooch bought it for $3 and basically threw it at me because he didn't want it. So I'm gonna watch it at some point.
a little
for sure.
behind
No,
the
that thing is selling like crazy on Amazon ever since
Yeah,
the movie
it
came
really
out.
picked up.
We were supposed to do a rewind review, a one-off, but
Just
unfortunately,
didn't work out. Unfortunately, I had a migraine, so we
Yeah.
had to
That-
can it.
The thing about that movie is it's okay in its own way. I just personally think that if it wasn't branded a Mario movie,
No, you'd
it,
have no idea.
it probably would have been better.
Oh yeah, I actually have heard that for sure. It is. It's just such an odd flick where it's just like, this is Mario. Like,
I mean, the fact that Hoskins and Leguizamo, they absolutely hated it.
oh yeah, I heard the stuff with Hoskins.
They would take shots between takes, and the two directors were literally just a bickering couple.
Yeah.
Like they had no idea what to do.
I-
And the thing too about that is they didn't have too much to do with because Mario wasn't really that much voiced until at least 96.
No, for sure. And I mean, it was only just like he's running through a Mushroom Kingdom. And like, I wonder if that's where. So was that kind of lore about him discovering the Mushroom Kingdom around before that movie? Or did that movie like create that lore?
Yeah, I would say that it's kind of been back and forth when it
Sure.
comes to that.
Okay. Interesting.
So, we haven't talked about, well, we talked about DK, but not necessarily the character Donkey Kong. Seth Rogen was a good pick. I like
perfect.
how his laugh is in it.
Oh, it works perfectly.
he was
Stupid
good.
fucking laugh.
It works awesome, and I like them butting heads, to start and
Right,
kind of coming back
That's
around.
the thing. Like,
As the
they don't
homage to
start
the
off as
game.
friends; they're rivals. And technically, the first Donkey Kong was Cranky, so that Mario had to deal with.
Right. Okay.
And that's the thing that makes.
And that's when he was just Jumpman, right, or whatever. Yeah.
And that's the thing that makes it interesting too. The fact that Rare, I'm a huge fan of them. They recreated Donkey Kong Country. The DK we know, the tie is supposed to be his grandson. This time he's his son. That's only ever happened in '64, and it's
Got
assumed
it.
that Nintendo retconned that.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, again, I really love them just bringing that whole thing in. I did like Cranky Kong's voice, but Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong was perfect. I loved that whole scene of them in the arena using all the different power-ups
Yeah, and it was
everything.
supposed to mimic that, that original Donkey Kong game.
Now, if they had the hammer, that would be a whole nother story.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to throw some barrels.
And so,
And did he at one point?
Yeah,
I missed.
yeah.
Oh.
he
Well,
chucks barrels the whole fucking movie.
well, no, I meant like in that. I was
like
waiting
it
for it to really
roll.
cut and have him
Okay,
like roll
okay.
it down or something.
Yeah,
You know what I
like
mean?
he's tossing barrels left and
Yeah,
right.
no,
He's
yeah.
just chucking it, not just.
They
throwing
rode a
it.
barrel at one point. Yeah.
So one of my biggest worries from the trailers was the inclusion of the Mario Kart scene, and not necessarily Rainbow Road, but just like doing Mario Kart as such a like set piece.
Yeah.
I almost like I don't love it. Like, I think it's cool when they build their carts.
Yeah.
That was another big thing we were concerned about when we first saw this movie. How much of the Mario are they going to put into it? How much of the side games? How much characters? How much is going to be just them throwing stuff at you that you don't even see a plot?
By the way-
and that was my worry. Like, Mario Kart is such a side thing. Like,
They broke a number one cardinal rule you and I have, and it still somehow works.
what?
Doing the thing exactly from the video game, feeling like because there's one point where it cuts when they're trying to get through the construction site at the beginning, and it like cuts to
Yeah.
a side view.
Oh, that worked
and
so
he's
well.
It worked perfectly.
It was perfect.
It was so awesome.
That was
I-
really based off the first level of Mario.
really.
Super Mario
That's so
Brothers.
cool. So
Yeah,
like
the
that is.
flag.
I mean, that works perfect.
They do the flag thing twice. Like
Yeah.
Peach does it when they do the obstacle course, which is a funny scene when like she's like explaining
Again,
how the world works.
how the
I'm
world-
like,
yeah.
oh, like we're like gods.
Yeah, and it is just so funny because, like I've said before, like I make fun of like the old Doom movie and like even Halo, where it's like we need to show you the first-person view because that's from the game.
Yeah,
that doesn't
and-
necessarily work all the time.
Like, and
this
they,
actually works.
They
I will
do
give it to them.
show gameplay mechanics in this game or in this movie rather well, and it's like
and they just work it in again this nonsensical world to get to
work
places.
it
You're
into
just platforming places for
Yeah.
some reason. I gotta go to work. Okay.
But the Mario Kart part, I could have took it or missed it.
I
Like,
thoroughly
it
enjoyed
was
it.
fine.
It was
Like,
fine.
I
Yeah,
think it
I didn't-
works
it didn't-
perfectly within. I like the idea of the DK Kingdom. They are cart people. They just that's how they get around. I thought that scene of them driving through
What they do with the glasses.
It was so
Yeah,
good.
it's
I
funny.
really
I
like
mean,
that.
I
Was
was-
that a character, by the way? Is that a character, or was that just one they
it
made
could
up?
have been. It could have been based off of Funky Kong, but doubtful. Like there were a couple Kongs that were shown. Like I had to look back at it. There was Diddy,
Yeah, you
Dixie,
see
and,
Diddy at
and
one point,
Chunky,
yeah.
who hasn't been in games in forever. So
Diddy's the like kid one, right? The one that he's like, "Shut up, Diddy!" Like, or be quiet.
So that kind of makes sense to me. Like Diddy Kong Racing, that's another big one. So that kind of
Mm-hmm. No, I think it works out, and they're like, "All right, to get back, we need a cart," and then they get on. Yeah, I really like that scene a lot.
The blue shell.
the Blue Shell General.
It was so funny because they made it like such a like a part.
They were like,
He's like,
"Blue
all right,
shell!"
that's it.
he yells it.
And you're like, oh, no.
Here it comes.
And you know what's funny? Mario wasn't in first.
No, he wasn't. No. I did actually think that.
He
but
wasn't
we'll let
in
it
first.
go.
He wasn't in first.
Oh my god. What about Peach? How do we feel about Anya Taylor-Joy? I
she
love
was
her and
great.
everything
She was
she's
great.
in. Oh my, like I really.
Remember,
she's so good.
remember I said during the DNNs that I feel like she aged out. I was
Yeah.
like, I was fine with her in this.
She definitely gave the idea of confident leader, doesn't take too much. Like literally, we were just talking about earlier. Like during the whole wedding reception, she's forced into. She sneaks an ice flower to still fight back.
For sure.
She's not,
No, it's
she's
great.
not going down.
She isn't being and I get it. They kind of I think they really did want to avoid obviously like we said
Princess
before the
trope.
damsel in distress trope, and she really was kind of taking care of herself all the time. And I did again. I love the little things like you were talking about with the ice thing when they take those power ups, how the clothes change and all that. Donkey Kong looks all fiery when he takes his power up and stuff. It's so perfect.
I am glad that they didn't all just eat every single one too. Like they just swipe over the flower, they absorb it instead of mushrooms. You have to eat it.
Yeah, see, that was a good point. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That's genius. Yeah, because you just you basically put your finger on it, and then that's it.
Explain to me the lore.
The
please.
lore, yeah, it's good stuff. We talked about Bowser.
Yeah, I'm trying
I
to
did think the star MacGuffin was kind of ended up being
That was
that was fine.
was-
It worked in the end.
But that was the thing about the star too. I was thinking, like, I was afraid about this movie. Are they going to base it entirely off of a certain game? Like, as soon as I saw that star in the first trailer, I'm thinking, oh, wait, is this going to be based off of Mario 64?
Sure.
If it's a power star, but it was a superstar, so that was okay. Like, that's a power up, not.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So that's just a very powerful power up.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that a lot.
Right. Yeah. I like the design of the Mushroom Kingdom was cool. Obviously,
Perfect.
the castle is the end.
Bowser's castle was great too.
in 64.
All the
yeah.
piping, all that sort of stuff. Like we were talking about the stores they had, like the retro store. They even make the cartridge joke that you blow into
Yeah,
it.
he's like you just gotta blow on it. Yeah, I caught that. Yeah. Good stuff. Great stuff all over.
And there is an end credit scene if you didn't see it. And I do think it's kind of weak because we do see Yoshi's in the movie, and then it's like, oh, it's the
It's the Yoshi.
That's kind
Yeah.
of the thing. It's
I was
the
like, what's the-
Yoshi.
So that is the
What's the
name.
point of
So
that?
that's the name of that there are multiple Yoshis.
Yeah,
They
there are
are
multiple
okay. That's
Yoshis,
not
but
just his name.
I love
Yo-
how you're like asking these
the
questions.
green
Like,
Yoshi,
love it.
the green Yoshi that you see in the box art, you see him all the time. You see Mario.
He's just
riding
a
him.
Yoshi, but he's the
Yoshi,
yeah.
like the Yoshi they know personally.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then you have who's the pink one again?
Birdo?
Birdo, yeah. Is that it? With
Birdo.
Birdo. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why's his name Birdo?
Well, he's trans.
Well,
which
the
is funny.
thing
I'm
is,
not kidding.
What?
No,
Yeah,
no, he's telling the truth.
That's he's one of the first trans characters like ever, which is
No
weird.
shit.
Yeah, because he's a boy, but he dresses like a girl.
And the thing about that too, going forward, is
What?
whether
Nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
We don't. What the fuck?
And the thing about that too is you don't know what they're gonna go into. Like everyone thinks of Super Mario Brothers 2. That's just a reskin of a game called Doki Doki Panic. Whether or not they're gonna
Yeah.
try and add that stuff into whatever sort of ideas they might have in the future.
So I think that the appropriate sequel would be the inclusion of Wario and Waluigi,
yeah.
and maybe Bowser breaks out, but he's teaming up with Wario.
I
and
mean,
Waluigi.
even Jack Black has gone on to say like who he wants to voice.
Oh, yeah, I
some-
saw
like,
that
I've
page
seen
of-
like
what'd he say?
I saw one for Danny DeVito.
He
I'm
said
not sure if that
Pedro
was him.
Pascal he would love to see as
That's fu-
Wario.
I mean, that he's just saying that because he's the current
I
heartthrob.
actually I do think also though that
I don't
he
want
would
Pedro
wor-
Pascal.
I think he'd work as Wario. I mean, I don't know. I think that would be fine. But again, he's becoming not in a bad way. His star power is big right now for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Danny DeVito is Wario. I think he's a little.
I mean,
old.
they originally thought of him for the original Mario movie. That never happened. So that would
I mean,
be a
because
nice
he looks
callback.
like Mario.
He's short like him. Interesting stuff.
That's
man.
another interesting point. Like even Peach says it. I remember Bowser was saying it. The fact that a human is entered.
Yeah.
Like simply that fact that they're differentiating. The Toads aren't humans.
Yeah, I would. I was thinking
Right,
that too.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was an interesting kind of like point.
The fact of the matter is also like people are going to start questioning if Peach is human. Mario's thinking that she is, considering that pretty much same height, same sort of power up absorption, that sort of thing. And they left it wide open when it comes to her origin, because usually in the games it's that she's Mushroom Kingdom royalty regardless. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
in this case, she was found and adopted, became their monarch.
Sure. So she in the game she's like born there. She is. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
It's funny. This is a short
Who are
movie.
Da- yeah,
and I think we've hit like pretty much everything.
I think we have to. Daisy and Rosalina, are they like her sisters in that? Like what? Like, are they
Daisy,
just like?
Daisy is like.
And now I'm curious. No,
You're
I'm so
asking
curious. I
so
think-
many
I
Mario
love it.
lore
No, I
questions.
want
It's
this
so
more lore because
funny.
I'm curious who
That's
else
why
they
I'm
bring
here.
in next.
Why he's
exactly.
here.
I mean, Daisy, she's from a whole different land.
I see.
She originated from a game
That's yellow, right? She's
Yeah.
the yellow. Okay.
different whole different kingdom. Rosalina, she's from Galaxy. She like those Lumas. She's the mother of those Lumas.
I see.
So,
Okay.
And there's even
She's a mom. Milf.
and it's going to be
Good for her.
it might be tricky considering that technically in beta for Galaxy she was considered to be a long lost relative of Peach. So who knows how that might connect.
Interesting. I could see them bringing that in for sure. Then. Great stuff, guys. I fucking love this movie. I'm gonna.
I feel
watch
like there
it
was
at some
one.
point.
This is gonna win an Oscar.
Animated movie. You think so?
Absolutely.
I still can't believe that Peaches is going to be considered for a
I
nomination.
yeah, like I guarantee it will. I guarantee it.
What else is it? So yeah, Pinocchio was last year. I just don't know what could even compete with it this year. Even
Right.
like-
Yeah.
if this came out last year with Pinocchio Pinocchio for me easily. Just in the way of like that's just such that's a film.
This will at least be nominated.
No, I think. Listen, I think this has it for now.
Yeah.
Unless something, I'm trying to think of what else is coming out this year. But
I mean, D&D maybe.
no, that's not animated.
No, it's not animated.
Puss in Boots.
It was last year.
Oh, was that last? I thought that was the beginning of this year.
Nope. 2022.
And the fact
I don't believe you for a second.
It was it was on the 2022 Oscars.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
shit.
know. It might have came out in 2023, but
another thing also considering when it comes to what's going to be integrated into the games possibly. Like
we were talking about
you
that.
think of the old Mario movie, like there's two things that got integrated into that I know of. The fact that their last name is Mario and the whole idea of Daisy and Luigi being a thing. So wondering what's going to be added in. I'm thinking that it's going to be a gag, like say people are going to start calling her Peaches now.
So I thought it was really surprising that Nintendo didn't release anything alongside this.
I figured they don't need to do that.
No
like Sega didn't do anything with the Sonic games and nothing like that.
Yeah, but like you look at like Naughty Dog with The Last of Us.
Again, they don't need. I mean, someone's gonna go buy Mario anyways.
I know.
Yeah, like
And they're not on sale.
Literally, they're buying the old movies now.
Didn't you link in the Discord, which you can join in the description of this podcast, that there was a sale going on or something?
I'm pretty sure that seeing some sales pop up. I think it's mostly Mario, probably maybe some
I
Donkey
think you're
Kong
right
stuff.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
what were you
little,
gonna say?
just a little touch in this that I really liked was how Mario kept calling Luigi Lou. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
I don't know why. I actually
Come on,
really
Lou.
enjoyed it. Like, because it feels like they're brothers. You know, it
That's
feels
another
like
thing they could do.
because
Yeah.
that wouldn't be. You know, I wouldn't
Right.
call my brother Luigi. Yeah, Lou. That makes total sense. It was perfect. I don't know. I really like that.
But let me bring that up. The fact also when it comes to this game, like how much sort of references they have. Like everyone after the movie came out, they're immediately these critics are saying like, oh, it's just Nintendo showing their brands. They're showing old school NES games. Those aren't made anymore. Like you're gonna complain that it's going to be some sort of marketing strategy to show all these old games. But
I mean, like we just said in the beginning, Nintendo doesn't even make their old IPs anymore. Like, we haven't had an F-Zero game in forever. It took them forever to fucking make a Kid Icarus.
You know what
sequel.
game they should really
Like-
do next and make it into a movie? I don't know if you guys.
3.
It's a little. It's
Duck Hunt?
a little one. It's called GoldenEye. No.
I don't know where he's going with this.
yeah, you can ask Rare about that.
You know what would be a good like movie?
Yeah.
Earthbound. It's
What's Earthbound? I actually don't know.
So
It's
oh,
NES.
this
It's
is
a
such
lot.
a
It's a lot of. It's very.
That's a Nintendo game.
It
I
looks
assume,
kid
right?
friendly.
Lucas and
but-
Ness.
It looks kid friendly, but it's actually really dark.
Oh, interesting.
Really creepy.
Now that you said that, that sounds familiar.
Do you remember the map Newport City? It's Newport City, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the
Porky?
is in the like
giant
spider
statue.
thing.
Right.
That is
Okay.
Earthbound,
All right.
and it's weird, and it like they haven't remade it or done anything with the IP. in
That's the
forever.
thing about that, unfortunately, that the creator said that he doesn't want to do anything besides a trilogy, and we still haven't technically gotten a proper port of Mother 3.
Right, and that's the thing. Even if they like did, I mean, I hate to say this, but like the Sunshine 64, what was it?
Galaxy?
Galaxy bundle. Like that they did, they only sold it limited time. Like I'm surprised they didn't even do anything like that.
Yeah, I know.
because like they would have sold it regardless of the movie, but like the movie probably would have helped like the plebs. Like the plebs would.
They should have just remade. They should have remade it in like the style of The Last of Us, just a super gritty Mario game, third-person adventure.
yeah, we
You're
call-
fighting off Goombas with a shotgun.
We call that the 93 Mario movie, which is what they were going with when they first thought of it.
Listen, I am gonna watch that movie at some point.
That was
like I
the-
said, Gooch shucked off the DVD. He didn't want it in his home for some reason.
Yeah, I'm like, get this the fuck out of here.
I'm not afraid to admit that I used to watch that thing all the time,
No, dude, I've heard
blissfully unaware
Listen,
of
I
how
still
bad it
hear
was.
people now being like, it's just like, how did this get made? Just the idea that this even got made and for some reason,
I mean, I'm
weren't like finished is insane.
And I'm pretty sure it was my first sci-fi movie. That's
For
how, that's how.
The fact that you call it sci-fi is fucking wild.
That's
I mean,
what.
but
That's
it
what
is
it's
like
labeled as.
the Goombas in that. Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's insane.
giant 8-foot reptilian Goombas.
So I hope this is the beginning of some of our Nintendo casts. I know Tears of the Kingdom is coming out soon. And
I will be purchasing.
Cannot
I was
wait.
gonna say
Cannot
Trio
wait.
has to get it, and then Chris will come back on, and I'll just rag Nintendo.
And I'll be like, I
usually do.
hate this game because it looks pretty same to what we're getting.
Legend
No.
of Zelda, nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Fair enough.
A lot of people are. I've seen a lot of critical takes on Tears of the Kingdom that it doesn't look as sequel-ish as it should be, like almost like a Majora's Mask equivalent.
That's the thing.
And I feel like that's how it's like people have been saying that's what it
with,
possibly will
with
be too.
Majora's Mask, made with the whole engine, made with whole different. In fact, it needed the whole expansion pack for it, but that's the thing. Like everyone's gonna complain it's not exactly the same. If it was exactly the same, like what makes it unique? Like I was literally.
Well, no, it's just more. It does look from what I've seen on it, like just the small gameplay I look. It does look extra. It looks like I'm almost watching the same game sometimes. I know the HUD's different, and I know I need to look into more on it. But it definitely didn't blow me away as much as as I was hoping difference wise. But hey, I'm not going to count Nintendo out or anything. They know what they're doing and stuff like that. So I might end up.
Debatable if they know what they're doing.
I mean, they're a very profitable company, so I think they know what they're doing. But yeah, we'll see, guys. Anything else on the Super Mario Brothers movie?
I'm trying to think. I would
I feel like we covered everything, but.
I mean, another thing we were talking about, I think I was talking with Penza about this. We were going back to the whole idea of more Nintendo movies. We were thinking Donkey Kong would be a thing, but who's to say whether or not that would?
I think they could still, again, I think this sets them up for any number of spin-offs or just sequels that they
I would like
do.
to see them, like every kind of movie they do, like the Mario movies are always Illumination. I would like to just see them like go to another studio. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
maybe
with different
won't
stuff.
happen,
Like,
but
again,
I
if,
like
if,
that
if, like
idea.
they made like a live action Legend of Zelda, like who would do that? You know.
Well, that's the thing, and I
Seems
think,
like a legendary
I do
movie.
think at this point though they'd want to keep them all animated so they can
if they
cross
ever
them
want
over.
to cross them over.
Or you just do the thing where Link turns, I don't know, animated when they do cross over.
It would be tricky to do that.
It's weird.
People consider that kind of a weird cop out, but
It's called Super Smash Brothers.
No, that's true. By the way, Into the Spider-Verse. That might take it this year.
that could be a good
Yeah,
one.
I think that might actually.
Anyway, I have nothing else to say.
Same here. Chris, anything for you?
Definitely say that it is a definite improvement. I'm fine with the original Mario movie, but I do love how this movie came out. I like how the characters were displayed. I like how they actually made the world. This is the first time we've had actual Peach and actual Bowser in the movie, so it definitely was a very good sort of take. I do think that Illumination was good at trying to balance out their usual comedy with the action with it. I feel like that was a good thing to it. That's definitely what brought us in. Like, you were laughing the whole entire time, so...
Yeah, I was.
That's good. That's a good sign.
And I was like, yeah, you fuckers.
Fantastic.
I do think this is an achievement when it comes to it. Like, it's going to sound corny saying this, but it was Mario Brothers that saved the Nintendo crash, and now they're making a successful video game movie, saving that market.
No, fantastic. And again, I do think that that market's been weirdly it's been doing good, but like this last year I think consistently has shown us you can just follow what the thing is. Like, just make the game.
It doesn't
just take the story and use that story.
It felt like playing a game. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be entirely plot related. They tried doing that in the '93 movie. I know I'm bad mouthing it. I'm telling you I'm fine with
I mean,
it.
you've actually, I think, praised it.
No, and I will
More than
listen.
you
I will
badmouth
say
it.
the thing with Mario that I said this with Last of Us. If that show wasn't good, that's on them for not following the blueprint of a story that they were given. Whereas for this, there is much more ambiguity in how you can kind of funnel the story through.
Right.
You have the main net of it's Mario coming to the Mushroom Kingdom and he's going to fight Bowser and maybe he'll save Peach or maybe he'll save Luigi.
Or maybe she'll be in another
Or maybe she'll be in another. Bing, bang, boom. And then you kind of have to really fill that in. Whereas something like The Last of Us, you literally have beat by beat what you should be making that story into.
Right.
And just know what to do and when to do it and when to trust the source material. That's all
the
I'll
thing
say.
about a Mario game too, like classic Mario game, not the RPGs or anything. They're pretty open. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you will. That's how
You're trying to get these things to save the princess or whatever, usually, and stuff more clear. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be step by step. It can have a bunch of different call outs.
Hmm.
I did love all the different sorts of characters that appeared. I'm glad we finally had a legitimate Goomba instead of the giant reptilian ones. So there was that.
It's good stuff. Great, guys. Well, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We're on all your favorite social media pages as well. Just at Delco Nerds. We have a Facebook page. We have a Discord channel. Come hang with us there. All of it will be linked down below. You can email us all your comments, questions, or concerns, delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you, but you can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. If you can drop us a like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast, it really goes a long way. Tell your friends about us. It really helps us out. But for Gooch, for Chris, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.